So, I'm not going to see a lot of my face today, but it's okay. You're just here for my voice. I painted this first pass on these skulls, which are giving me a hell of a time. And overall, it felt too white. So, I've come in this morning to start painting, and I realized I kind of wanted to harmonize it all more to the yellow. So, I'm going to employ a technique that is called the couché, or in English we call it couching. That's more or less applying a glaze and then painting into the glaze. Now, I said throw your mediums away, and I meant it, but sometimes we can kind of save ourselves with a glaze. Had I done it right the first time and just mixed up good colors, I'd be fine. But you know, you gotta learn how to push and pull. So basically how it works is I've just got some linseed oil here. I'm not going to use any kind of fancy medium because I don't want a layer of resin or anything going just in certain places. So I'm using a layer of linseed oil and some yellow ochre, which I have a rather transparent, or let's call it semi-transparent form of yellow ochre. Sometimes yellow ochre can be too opaque for this job. But if you have the right brand, then you're good. And I've applied it in some places. As you can see, it's like quite yellow there. Well, you can't really see, but I can see. But let me pick another place that I want to be yellower. So this shadow here gets a lot of bounce from this mandible. And I just want it to be more yellow. All back here. So I'm going to apply that glaze, and then I'm going to paint into it. I'm not going to sit here and demo that for you, but the principle is that you're basically painting wet into wet. And you're, at the same time, tightening up or addressing your form, you're making steps to unify your whole object to a better color than what you started with. The etymology is to lay down a coat of paint. It literally is the past participle of the verb to lay. So we're laying down a glaze, and we're going to paint into that glaze. And it's going to be really satisfying. I've done this in the past, especially if I'm correcting the color of my shadows on a figure or a portrait. I will glaze the shadow, the whole shadow, to bring it more unified into a specific color. And then I'll run a little bit of a couch just along the terminator so that I can adjust my colors in the turn right out of the shadow. And then maybe the lights are working, so I leave them alone. What I do want to say is if you've glazed an area and you're not going to paint on it, you might want to wipe the oil off. Or if it's looking fine and you're going to leave it like that forever, then leave it there. But I try to keep my glazes as the final layer. So I'm going to paint into this shape right here today, but I'm going to paint it one pass to the best of my ability, and that will be my last layer. I will not glaze it further. I will not get in there and tinker with it more. I might punch an accent once that paint is dry, but that's it. So that's just personal preference. I've got my own thoughts on fat over lean, and I do adhere to it just because it's practical, but I think the easiest way to get around having to really consider it at all is to just make your glaze, make your fat layer. See, this is where I don't understand the rule. Whatever. Forget fat over lean. I mean, don't forget it, but like read about it, because I don't know. I'm torn right now. I always took it to mean that your more linseed heavy layers should be your final layers. But some people call your fat layer the one with the most paint. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would that be your last layer? Anyway, I don't think a diluted with linseed oil layer is... I'm just processing this out loud with you. Here's the principle as I understand it. fat is your oil. So if a more oily layer is a fatter layer. You can tell me I'm wrong. Anyway, in my practice, I find glazes go last. The end, period. Hope you enjoyed this rambling